Welcome back to the reality, guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co host, Brian.
All right, buddy.
We are back to talk surviving Barstool. This is episode 6 of season 3. Will this competition break Rico Bosco? Um, I would say off the top, I don't think it broke Rico Bosco. I think, especially for you Barstool fans, I think Rico held up pretty damn well. There was a lot of potential for this game to get Rico back down the wrong path and to start reverting into his angry, crazy ex self. And he always has part of that self, but the old dog did pretty good and held himself out pretty well. Brian, overall, I mean, we're going to kind of jump around with this episode, but what did you think overall of Rico Bosco? Obviously, full spoilers here, everyone. This episode does conclude with the voting out of one Terrence Rico Bosco. Brian, your thoughts overall?
I would have thought if one challenge was going to break him, it'd be episode one where everyone's yelling at him. That would be the one
Yeah.
that I think this one, I thought he did fine. I mean, there's a lot of people that just gave up. I mean, Jerry gave up. And I really thought this was a cool challenge. Tommy, man, I mean, dude, the preview doesn't even look like he's going to they didn't talk about Tommy once in the preview. So,
I think Tommy, they had it. He said it, and that's kind of story 1B that
yeah,
I have here. I wanted to give Rico his credit. I think he performed well. I think he just fell on the wrong side of being on a shorthanded alliance. You know what I mean? That
yeah,
there was the risk of either PFT, Jerry, or Rico going. I think Jerry and PFT both had a little bit more connection to the other side. Even though Jerry definitely was in a bit of a panic, Jerry does have an idol, and it does seem like in the preview that use or non-use of that idol, it may spark a little bit of a difference with PFT. We're going to get to that obviously on Monday. But overall, I think for Rico, like I said, it was just bad numbers. The other squad
yeah,
had, going to Will Compton and having Che, it's like, you know what, let's just save it a week. We don't need to overextend ourselves. Why chip away at ourselves, even if we haven't been a unified,
right,
tribe. That challenge last week made people vote somebody like on last episode, made them vote it off. Like they could have won a challenge and been fine, right? So like
right.
that kind of shows that difference with only 1 week to the merge, how it had worked out for everybody.
Yeah, dude, I think Will is also a sneaky. He's been I mean he's been impressive in a lot of the challenges that he's been in. And I don't know. I do you think PFT will move over? Maybe him and Tommy will spark something up now that kind of he doesn't have the numbers.
Yeah, I mean PFT needs to. I mean, there's no Hank on the other side. KFC and fights, they're not really like a unit with PFT. Che's floating, right? Like I said, I think it would be smart for him to do that. Um, it's just like I said, it's going to be really interesting because again, same thing with Tommy. Tommy went out there and basically went to the PFT, I mean to the KFC guys, and we're like, hey, look, like the final three of us can go with Che kind of being a possible person to float them out. It's just interesting. I think KFC in fights, frankly, they should just keep Che. Che's been pretty loyal with them. I don't see a reason for them to burn Che right now. Having three when you get to seven, it's pretty big, especially if you can
Yeah.
somehow get that three through next episode. They're in pretty
Right.
good
You keep
shape.
that and then you add Tommy and you know what I mean? Then you got majority.
It is crazy. I mean, again, I mean, PFT said, which I think it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic of like what people are going to be afraid to do or not do. Like we've seen Jerry get threatened now by Dave after voting him out. We've seen Kirk threaten Che, and that definitely took place today on like Kirk's show. You've seen clips on Twitter. They're going after Stephen Che. So, you have to think about in this game, which is unique to other game compared to other games, like your actions have repercussions in your real life.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what makes the show really funny and just different than the main show. But yeah, I'm very interested to see like where people go. And I'm glad the guys that don't watch the show are enjoying it. Like I like that PFT was like, I wouldn't be mad if I got voted out with a blind side. Like I think that'd
Yeah,
be really
yeah.
cool. And that's
Um,
just nice to hear.
the memorization challenge was good. We had obviously some people who are in the kind of know. They picked up on the fact that those blocks were on the table all week. They memorized them. Very like amazing racish that challenge was, right? It was like as far as like memorizing the stuff that goes into play, like the end of the Amazing Race. And then it was just a combination of knowing your memory with that Jeff recites out to you and grabbing the blocks. But I love the wrinkle of being able to risk your life
I thought
to
that was
go
really cool.
straight to the final if you knew the challenger. I love that type of. I don't know if I've seen that on like Survivor before.
No, I haven't, but like the way they do the memorization, they've done that in the past. But it's funny that the three people that have been on the show or affiliated with the show, because KFC was like technically the Jeff Probst in the first
He
two
was the
seasons,
host, yeah.
they were the three that actually noticed the blocks on the table, which is I thought that was really
Makes
cool.
sense.
Yeah, Tommy was like he was doing a Rubik's cube, like that's how quick it was, just like bang, bang, bang.
He
And I
did
love the
bang it
check
out.
portion. I really liked is how they did it. It wasn't just like you can constantly check, like you have your check on the round and then you got to wait for everybody else. I thought that was nice.
I really liked it. I thought they really have like done the challenge as well. I think the rules have made sense and they haven't been kind of unfair to lean, say, to someone who's like physically stronger
Yeah,
than others. I think there's been a pretty good equalizing there.
I
Um,
agree.
like I mentioned there, we've talked there, there is an idea of like, hey, we need to start talking about like what the jury will be like. Some people like Tommy considering, others are just trying to survive. I mean, frankly, now we're down to 7 players. 3 go to the finale. So again, depending on the structure of the episode going into Wednesday, we could lose, 2 and 2. We could lose like we're gonna get a double elimination in one episode for sure. And then I don't know if they'll do a regular episode Wednesday and a live finale, or
I
if
think they
it's
will.
okay. So that could sound like a 2-1-1 and then the winner announced. I wonder if they're
Yeah.
gonna do something like making fire. That would be really funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they've done a really good job with like tying in Barstool too. With like I love that the blocks were like things for their like I thought that was
In the
awesome. I didn't
history,
know
no,
half
for
the
sure.
people. I just thought that was nice. It's just I don't know, man. I've been really enjoying watching the show more than
Over 100,000 pay-per-view guys.
what was your guess?
It's like
It
40
was like
something
44,
thousand.
is that what you said?
Yeah, but that was at,
44,000?
at that point. So the guess for the point where I've guessed that ended up being like 54,000 or
Oh, so
something.
that's not
That wasn't
bad.
that bad, but like I thought their biggest rough and rowdy was like 50,000, so 50 something thousand. So I thought like, hey, they had more time to promote that, so maybe a little less. But up to 100,000 already. So I mean, 990. I mean, it's like $1 million gross. You know what I mean? That's not bad. I'm sure they have. I'm pretty sure they own. They have to have some kind of service to have that Barstool TV. I'm sure they got some behind the scenes like company that helps support it, but
Yeah.
it's a lot of money. And so frankly, they did really well with it. And frankly, if I'm then later on, I just release it on YouTube too. Just let it be on. Who cares? Like edit the stuff out and let it be on YouTube as well, and let people then get the money.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even begrudge them. Frankly, could like pay back if they could almost make most of their money back from this thing. They'll do it again next season, and I think they'll just cut certain costs of it. They'll be smarter with it. They also have a Barstool giant Chicago like fantasy factory office now, so that would be like a place where they could do a lot more in that office than they can in like New York City. So,
Yeah,
um,
I mean, it's been great. I just like the direction. The only thing maybe would be cool next season is if they actually have to sleep in the same room. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're not just like the sleeping area is more
well, they could
that
do
could
that
piss more people off.
in the Chicago office. They have a basketball court, like a
Yeah,
gym,
like that's the only thing that could create
like
more
Squid
like
Games.
yeah, like they're mad at each other because man, he keeps snoring or like things like that. And it's
Uh,
just
we
that's
can
the
get
only
into
thing.
that next week for sure. I would like to see some of the women from Barstool mixed in
Yeah,
again
yeah.
next year, like Kelly Keegs and some of those others. I think it would be a lot of fun to have them mix it. But I need them to have a lot of the OGs, like a lot of these all-star cast people. Like it does matter if you
Yeah.
sprinkle in some of the mixed guys, like the OG Barstool people will love. But I do think that the big names do help too. So
I'm really surprised they didn't have girls because they had women on the first two seasons.
it
I'm
just
surprised why they
probably,
didn't do that.
yeah, I guess they really, so these are like all-star of all-star people, so that's how they kind of worked
Yeah.
it outside of like Frank the Tank, who I probably wouldn't want to do it.
He was
um
a he was a guest the one time, but man, he
he
would be
probably
annoying.
wouldn't want to do it, but he probably would do it next year just to be part of it. Just I think he would do it for content. So
Yeah.
make sure you like and subscribe to here and on our TikTok. We have reality TV news, clips, and 60-second reviews. We'll be back for episode 7 on Monday. But until then, we have a lot of other content, including the rest of our reality Wednesdays, which include the Squid Game, the challenge finale, Amazing Race 35, the second to last episode of the season. I believe they're going to be in like Ireland this week, which is pretty cool. And then Survivor 45, the season continues. That still has several weeks left. So Brian, myself, and Kyle Petty from the Strat Chat pod do that. Amazing Race, and also obviously Brett in there for Survivor as well. But for myself, Brian, everyone here at the Reality Guys, thank you so much for watching. Peace.